welcome to the Miami Heat Zone podcast. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button. Today we have Daryl. He's back again. And no, guys, he does not have a YouTube channel, but right there, that is his Twitter name. Make sure that you guys go over to his Twitter, like, comment, and make sure that you guys show him all the love that you guys can. Now, Tyler Herro, he was just named an All-Star. So please, Daryl, talk to all the Miami Heat haters. People say that, you love Tyler Herro. What do you have to say about Tyler Herro being an All-Star and to all the haters?
Man, it's good to see that come through for that kid. That kid's put in the work. People don't see that stuff. They don't know about it. And what that kid's had to go through for the last 3 years, all the trades, everything he's gone through, and watch him persevere is it's eye-opening, bro. He's been a great player. A lot of people don't understand a lot of things about basketball. They're just fans. They don't get why players get things or don't get things, and they don't see the behind-the-scenes stuff. They don't hear about it. They don't know about it. And what he's gone through to get here is that it's eye-opening, bro. I'm happy for him.
So why do you think he's been so successful this season? I mean, he is, not really so much dribbling a lot, but he's playing a lot more like how he used to play in college. He's just shooting the basketball. But why do you think he's been so successful this season?
One thing, he's first option. He's the first option now. The last 3-4 years, he's been the third or fourth option. And I get it. People don't understand that stuff. But when you're the first option and you're able to dictate the play and the plays are run for you and you're not the outlet to the play, it's a very different game. It's why people, they always gravitate towards the stars and stuff. Well, every play is run for a star, Just because you don't have the ball in your hands at that moment, but the ball is automatically, it's going to find you sooner or later. When you're the third or fourth option, the ball may not find you. If it does find you, it might find you in a position that's not advantageous for you scoring. It just might be, you might be the hub. So the fact that he's been scoring 20 points for the last 4 years, not being the first option, should tell you something. So now when you're the first option, when you give up the ball is coming back. So you have an opportunity to get into the play the way you want to, rather than taking last second shots in the last 4 seconds because everybody dribbled and then they gave it to you to check up a shot. So options are the number one thing. It has nothing to do with the amount of shots. It has to do with the play and how the play is being run.
So with Tyler Herro being that first option, do you think going forward, now that Jimmy Butler will soon be out of here, but do you think he's good enough to be a first option for the Miami Heat? Because remember, this look, he is still young, and we really, really got to give him, maybe 1 or 2 more years to see if he can keep up this level of play. And I know that a lot of people want to see this translate into the playoffs. I think he even said that he learned a huge lesson going against the Boston Celtics, pretty much as that quote-unquote main offensive option. So do you think going forward that he's good enough to be that number one option with this small sample size of like roughly 40 games?
That's difficult to answer because I just don't think the NBA, what most fans grew up with or watch, I don't think there is that many of those players anymore. People are so used to the LeBrons, the KDs, the guys who are just bigger than everything. They just dominate everything. I don't think the NBA is that way anymore. The true 1A, that can just run everything, there's not a lot of those guys left. So, can he be a number one option? Yeah. Do I think he needs a partner in crime to make it like a 1B with a 1B type of thing? I think that's what's gone on more now. It's going to be more about, teams are going to be built out to have, especially with the CBA, they're going to be built out to have multiple players on the team. So I consider him like a 1B. That's no knock against him, but everybody needs help. So instead of having 2 stars and 3 whatever guys, now I think it's going to be more like 2 and 3, second tier guys, and it's just going to be a little bit more even across the board.
Got you. So now with Jimmy Butler, there's still a bunch of reports. 1 minute he's going to the Golden State Warriors, and 1 minute they change their mind. They keep flip-flopping. then Memphis, I think probably Memphis has probably been the clearest team saying, listen, we want Jimmy Butler, whether it's now or in the future. They want Jimmy Butler right now. Where do you honestly think, with the trade deadline, probably like a few days away now, where do you think that Jimmy Butler will end up landing? And what return do you expect for the Miami Heat to get? Because I know a lot of people are saying all these crazy returns, but we'll be lucky to even get 1 or 2 first-round picks in a deal like that, unfortunately.
Well, I think everything's changed in the last 2 days. A couple of my friends and I, we've been tracking the whole thing. We've been tracking the Fox thing for a long time, since the summer. I think the Miami Heat were looking for a certain package, 3 days ago, because Fox hadn't declared. I think now it changes everything. So I don't think it's about what Miami is trying to get back from Miami now for the future. I think it's trying to manufacture whatever Sacramento wants for Fox. So it's hard to say what they're going to get because I don't think it matters anymore. I think it's all about what Sacramento wants, and I think they're going to move Jimmy Butler to facilitate that trade, to be honest with you. So I think it's going to end up being a bigger deal now, because if Miami was stockpiling stuff for 26, which is what we've heard for a while, which obviously makes sense, I think that's a little bit out the window now, because if you can get the future player now as opposed to waiting for 26, then you move your chips in now for that. And I think that's what's going to go on.
So there's a lot of people that are saying, yeah, Fox is great, but what is your trade package for Fox? There's some people that they're saying Tyler Herro should be traded, or he might be the first person that they ask to go out. But obviously you would try to keep the trio of Bam, Fox, and Bam. But then also, too, some people, they don't want to trade Khalil Ware. They don't want to trade Jovic. So what's a realistic trade package that you think? Because obviously, listen, the Sacramento Kings, they don't want, Jimmy Butler. So it's going to be a 3, 4, 5 team deal regardless. Or they're going to get, try to get those assets like you just said from another team to appease the Kings. But like I said, the Kings don't want Jimmy Butler outright. So what is the trade package that you think, from the Miami Heat at least, that the Kings would want?
I don't think Tyler's not going anywhere. Bam's not going anywhere. And to be honest with you, I don't think Ware's going anywhere. I try not to be biased in these things, and I try to look at things from a perspective of what the team wants and what would make them better. Just, a lot of this comes down to common sense. So when you look at the Kings roster, you look at what they need, right? They signed DeMar DeRozan. They like Keegan Murray. They obviously have Sabonis. They have 2 young point guards that they like in Carter and Ellis, I believe. Monk has been a 6-man, but can go back to being 6-man. So they say they want win-now players. So if you want win-now players, I'm not saying that they don't want picks too, but they own all their picks. So, I think Sacramento can actually build a very good team depending on the right trade. I think they're going to need another scorer of some point. I don't know if Beal will go there. I think he should go there. And if Beal would go there, then that would help with the whole Jimmy thing. But I do think Phoenix at some point is going to have enough of this, and they're going to back out of this pretty soon. And once that happens, Jimmy loses every ounce of leverage he has. So people don't want to hear this because I love this kid too. I love Jovic. But when I say I'm not biased, I look at our team as well too, right? So if you brought in a guy like Fox, I'd ask you if you had a team of Fox, Herro, Bam, and Ware, what do you think is the next piece Miami needs with that 4?
Well, they're going to need a dynamic 3. I mean,
3 and D, right?
Yeah, I mean, because, Jovic is all right. But once again, I think that Jovic and Jaime are definitely going to have to be on the table.
Oh, I think Jaime's gone in this deal.
Yeah. He's gone regardless.
Jaime was brought in for one reason. He was brought in to play the same style as Jimmy and be the backup for Jimmy when Jimmy wasn't on the floor. This offense has changed this year, and you can see what it's done to JJJ. I'm not a JJJ fan whatsoever. I don't think his game translates in this kind of offense. I'm not saying it can't work other places, but please get this guy off my team. And like I said, I love Jovic. I think Jovic, if you could keep him out of the deal, would be an amazing sixth man on this team. But I think if it came down to it, and you had to move Jovic, I think he could go too. But if I can get this deal done somehow with all the other pieces and keep Jovic and have that top six, that would be the 3 and D would still need to be acquired, because I don't think Highsmith can fill that role for a championship level team. But you are much closer to being there.
Yeah, but okay, so Bam Adebayo, he had a very good statement today. He was pretty much talking about recruiting, and he pretty much said that, listen, if you're going to come to the Miami Heat, I'm not going to lie to you. We're trying to play 82 games. We're going to play both ends of the floor. So with our captain pretty much saying that, do you think that has hindered other players from coming to the Miami Heat?
Oh, it definitely hinders players. This place isn't for everybody, man. There's, today's world, is full of lazy ass people. And they're basically saying, if you're not here to work, then this place isn't going to work for you. I think Bam's being straight up. I think he's telling his boy exactly what it is. And that's what you need to expect when you're, listen, those guys are best friends, man. Like, those guys, they've known each other a long time, man.
So look, that's why I'm saying I know a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, the Spurs, they have more assets. And the Houston Rockets, they have a lot more assets than the Miami Heat. And a bunch of other teams because obviously, now allegedly, the list is the Spurs is like the number one choice. Then it's the Miami Heat and then the Houston Rockets, allegedly. We haven't heard anything from Rich Paul or Fox directly. But that is where Bam Adebayo comes in, because we always hear, they love playing with Bam. Bam is this. And, they're always singing Bam's praises. But it's like what Bam was also saying. This place isn't for everybody. But do you think that Fox would fit? And do you think that Fox would push his way here? Because that's the only way we'll be even to think about De'Aaron Fox. It comes through Rich Paul, because Rich Paul, he always gets his guys paid. And he always gets his guys to where they want to be. They were roommates in college. He was his groomsman at his wedding. So obviously Bam's not just going to say, yeah, Fox is coming right now, because he's not going to do all that. But do you think that's realistic? And do you think Fox wants to come here?
I do think Fox wants to come here. I think the Spurs thing is overblown.
Yeah, because they can't win. I mean, Wemby, and they have a decent young core too. But to say that they're that much far along than the Miami Heat, I wouldn't say so.
This comes back to common sense. Like, if Sacramento came out and said we're in a rebuild, then I would say we're screwed.
Yes.
But that's not what they're saying.
Yeah, they want win now pieces.
So if you want win now pieces, why would you send your all-star to your rival?
And that's the biggest thing. Yes, the Houston Rockets and the Spurs, they might have a bunch of first-round picks, but why would I give my all-star point guard to a rival in the same conference? Most teams never do that. They're going to rather send you to the East or vice versa. You know what I mean? So I think we have a shot, but Bam has to get on that phone. Bam has to get on that phone.
Come on, man. He's on the phone, bro. He's on the phone. Him and Tyler are on the phone. It's not hard to go through the tea leaves, bro. Like, these guys talk. Everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows about the Kentucky, contingency. Everybody knows, about Bam and his friendship. I don't think it hurts. Tyler just made the freaking All-Star team too. I think he's an absolute perfect fit. Like, just go down the list. Like, some of this stuff is such a joke, man. Like, some of the stuff these guys put out, like, it's the odds. Like, they just drafted their point guard of the future.
Yes, Castle.
So why would you do that? He's 6 years older than most of the team. Does he even fit with Wemby? They're like, oh, yeah, he's a great pick and roll threat. Well, Wemby takes 9 threes a game from the top of the key. Does that sound right? Like if you're honestly looking at the Spurs, look at it from their point of view. What do you think the Spurs need? I think they need another big. If Wemby's gonna stand up there and shoot threes all day, then you need another big.
Yeah.
You just drafted your point guard of the future. You already have Devin Vassell as your 3. Like, you need to fill in those holes. The same way we're talking about Sacramento, you got to fill in the holes that they need. We need to fill in the holes that we need. It makes perfect sense. Everybody's going to go to the Rich Paul contingency thing, and it is a factor.
That is a huge
I will say that it is a factor. I'm not gonna shovel snow on it, but the end of the day, I've said this to some close friends. De'Aaron Fox is going to get paid wherever he goes, so it doesn't matter. And people can make all they want of the relationship with Rich Paul and Riley and all that stuff. He's not going to pass up the agent fee for a max player. I don't care where it is. So if Fox wants to be here, he's not going to not let Fox come here. Like, he wants to get paid too. So the player decides where they're going, not the agent.
So now we're hearing rumors of Bruce Brown, and then we also just seen one about Bojan Bogdanovic. So there's a lot of different role players that could be circling. Now, allegedly, teams like the Pistons, and then you have the Raptors, you have the Wizards. They want to at least help facilitate a Jimmy Butler trade. So is there any specific role player that you would want on this Miami Heat team that's on any of these rosters that you could say, wow, that would be a sleeper? Bruce Brown, I know that you're not the biggest Bruce Brown fan, but he is a pretty high-level role player, and there's other role players out there that this Miami Heat team desperately needs.
Go right back to what we were talking about, filling the needs. I don't care about anything other than Fox right now. Fox is the number one priority. You do that, and then you figure everything else out. Everything that all the rumors and all the other players and all the other expiring contracts that we were talking about before, that was pre-Fox stuff. That was stuff we were looking at for 26, freeing up that money. I think that's all out the door. Nobody was talking about Nico going anywhere. Nobody was talking about where. Nobody was talking about any of that stuff 2 days ago. So until the Fox thing is clarified, I think anything that anybody was talking about is completely out the window now. These two guys are going to hold up the whole market. So nothing is going to move until these two guys are moved. So trying to figure out at this point, even though I'm good at this stuff, is kind of a moot point until these guys land, because these deals on these two guys are going to grow exponentially even after the main trade. Everybody's going to jump in. Everybody's going to see where the lack of who got left out of the trade, who was trying to move stuff, and then things will fall in line after that. I care nothing about anything other than Fox. Once we get the Fox deal done, then you can look into, can you go get Lonzo as a backup to Fox? Can you find another 3-and-D wing? Can you do a separate trade? Maybe Jovic wasn't in the trade. Can you move then Jovic for that piece? To kind of solidify the five. There's a lot of moving parts, but until these two go down, nothing's going to happen.
Got you. So once again, Daryl, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can the people find you again on Twitter?
I got you finally at the title. You can get me at Herdsman and Sheep on Twitter, and let's see what happens here in the next, what do we got, 7 days? 7 days, I think? Yeah.
Yep,
7 days of hell and counting, yeah.
That, and I think it's going to go all the way to the deadline, because as you can see, teams are flip-flopping. Oh, well, we want Jimmy, and then 1 minute they don't. I think it's going to go all the way down to the deadline as we see certain teams, like whether it's Memphis or the Golden State Warriors or all these other teams, maybe even the Milwaukee Bucks, which I don't think Pat would ever trade Jimmy into the same conference. I don't see that at all. And same thing like with the Phoenix Suns. I just think that Jimmy Butler, he messed up like when it came to the Phoenix Suns, only because you are banking on another man to pretty much leverage your future, and there is no hope of that. And I just don't understand why they pushed for this trade so publicly, knowing that Bradley Beal, he doesn't even want to leave. You know what I mean?
He tried forcing him out, man. And I've said for a while that is a messed up thing to do, and you're losing support everywhere. Players, the league, everything, by doing that. You are now messing with somebody else's situation and money. And listen, he does dumb stuff, and this doesn't surprise me at all. You know what I mean? Like, you're about to get what you deserve after doing what you've been doing. It's the threats of what's coming out. I don't think he wants what's about to come out. You know what I mean? And that's why we got to get the trade done before this stuff has to come out, so it doesn't screw anything else up, because he's losing leverage every minute.
There you go. Well, guys, make sure that you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. We are pushing to 6,000 subscribers, and thank you guys for all the support.